with a show of hands about your favorite time of year. Is it Christmas or Hanukkah? Anybody? How about your birthday? Okay, springtime? The monsoon season? Come on, monsoon! For me, it's brush and bulky pickup. Brush and bulky pickup, in case you don't know, that's the 2 times a year where instead of just putting out your regular trash bins, you can just pile up heaps of junk in front of your house. So you usually find old furniture, scrap pieces, all sorts of junk. But for me, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. I will get in my car, especially in nice neighborhoods, and just start driving around, kind of scoping out the piles of junk, and my heart starts racing. I start getting a little adrenaline because I know that I'm going to be able to find something and transform it. And I've had this my whole life. In fact, I have this very vivid memory from when I was little, like 5 or 6 years old, and there was a dumpster in front of a neighbor's home. I think they were remodeling or something. This was in the suburbs of Annapolis. And I remember how excited I felt to climb into the dumpster. Just because I knew I was going to discover something cool. And you knew it was there for a few weeks, and so I had many repeat journeys, and all the other neighbors started being like, well, heck, let's put our stuff in here too. And so I've been a dumpster diver really my whole life. And even now, you know, the most recent brush and bulky pickup, I was going for a walk, and I saw this really nice pile of good quality wood. And then on closer inspection, I realized, oh, it's a deconstructed bunk bed. I could use that to make a fence on my land in the desert. And so I got a very kind friend to help me load it in the back of my car. It was full of slats, and now it is indeed a fence out on land that I have. One of my favorite finds that I ever found was, it's a mid-century modern Arrow-Sarin style chair, if you can picture that, sort of like a scooped out seat, egg shape on a tulip base that swivels. And it swiveled perfectly. It had good bones, as they say. The seat was rusted and there was a hole in it. But I looked at it and I was like, you are coming home with me. And so since then, I ended up getting 80s albums. You know what album is? Yeah, you all are pretty. Yeah. These were all warped or had bad scratches, so they really were no good. And so I heated them up in our outside oven so they became pliable. And I had my oven mitts on, and I would mold them around this chair. And I made this very cool scallop pattern down the front and down the back. And then I would get liquid nails, and I would do a little squirt, and I would put them back in place. So now it is this functional work of art that you can sit on. And it was just a piece of junk. Something else I've done is lots of things with beer caps, tabletops, wine bottle walls, all sorts of things. But more recently, I feel very accomplished because from having clothing swap parties with a bunch of my girlfriends, I probably had maybe like 3 of them, where everyone would bring a couple bags of clothes that they didn't want anymore, and everyone would go home with new finds that they were so excited about. So it is the epitome of one woman's trash is another woman's treasure. And whatever was left over, I would always donate to St. Vincent's. But there was always this heap of bras, because bras are just notoriously uncomfortable or make you shape oddly. So I had about 70 bras.
Oh my God.
And I thought, I should do something with these. And at first I was thinking maybe some sort of shade structure. I wasn't exactly sure. But then I had an idea. Why don't I get a beach ball and just keep hooking them around? Then I thought it could be some cool sculpture. But then I was like, I should dip them in water. So then I ended up layering all these bras, all connected until it grew and grew. It ended up being about this big. I took out the beach ball because it wasn't needed anymore. It was hollow, but it was solid as a rock. 58 pounds. I spray painted it, kind of like a off-white to make it classy. Semi-gloss paint, and then I mounted it on a 12 by 12 by 3 foot base, so it's about this high. And there was a call for entries at a gallery for found object art, and I was like, well, this is found object art. It was a juried show, and it got accepted. To get this heap of uncomfortable bras and turn them into artwork, it felt like a really good accomplishment. So, my point is, my whole life, I've just had this fascination with transforming things. I look at things and I think, how can I give this purpose again? How can I make this more beautiful? And then over time I've realized that transformation is really about your perspective. And so often when you change your perspective on something, it's just very transformative. And it can go way beyond objects. So for example, looking in the mirror, there are times, of course, where I'm like, oh my God, my legs, they used to be beautiful, now they're bad, blah, blah, blah. But then I stop myself and I think, no, you know what? These legs have taken me rim to rim across the Grand Canyon. These legs have helped me traverse Bali 56 miles across from south to north in 7 days. I have hiked up to 4 volcanoes in Guatemala. So instead of looking in the mirror of how I've aged, I look at my legs as these vehicles that have helped me have these incredible experiences that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And so I feel like so often in life we're just kind of hard on ourselves, or we just look at something and we think, oh, let's throw it away. That's a piece of trash. There's no use for that. But if we really kind of change our perspective on things, we can really bring new life to things. And it's not even just objects or ourselves. We can transform other people too. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Pygmalion effect. If you took Psychology 101, you've probably heard of that, where it's basically when you expect people to succeed, they're more likely to succeed. And so if a teacher really praises the students and has high hopes for the students and lets them know, the student is more likely to rise up to that. If you instill confidence in your children, then they're going to be more likely to grow into having confidence for themselves. Great with employers and employees. Maybe someone's kind of green, but someone can see their potential. So then they will grow up to that. And so that's really what I want you all to be thinking about today is what in your life could use a little transformation? What could you do to look at something like a thrift shopper goes into a second-hand store? They walk in with hope. They walk in with wanting to discover something. So you can do that with yourself too, and everyone around you. So if you take that chance to really look at the potential in something, then you are going to find more beauty in whatever it may be. You can transform an environment, turn a dirt lot into a garden. You can transform your relationships. You can transform just about everything. It's all about your perspective. And then I want to leave you with these words that during the next brush and bulky pickup, if you happen to see me rummaging through the junk on your curb, just come out and say,